Hey guys, Niffler here and welcome to my channel. Ever since I suggested a Raider Cyclone build in my Breach starter video, I got flooded with questions and requests for a full guide on such a build. And thinking of budget alternatives to the featured at Series Disfavor or Starforge, I thought of an elemental based version with Oro's Sacrifice, similar to my build during the Darkshrine event. But then I stumbled over the new Nagamu's Flame unique Abyssal Axe. Turns out, someone already had the same idea, so I decided to feature a forum build guide on this one, as its creator was so kind and gave me permission to do so. So get hyped for Agnot's Flaming Meatball Massacre. And as always, for a link to the forum post, check the description below. The Nagamu's Flame Abyssal Axe provides great stats for a fire-based Cyclone build, with 20% fire penetration and its 50% of physical damage converted to fire, resulting in a 100% conversion with Avatar of Fire. But what really makes this weapon interesting is its 20% chance to attack with Molten Burst on melee hit, which is supported with all gems socketed in the axe. This works similar to the Whispering Ice, so they only have to be socketed in the axe, not linked. So with the 6-socket Nagamu's Flame, you gain a 7-link Molten Burst in addition to your main Cyclone setup inside your body armor. So let's start with the gem setup. Our main skill, Cyclone, is linked with melee physical damage, weapon elemental damage, fire penetration, fortify and added fire damage for maximum DPS. Or you can also use increased area, which can be swapped out for concentrated effect in boss fights. Inside the axe, supporting the Molten Burst, we got weapon elemental damage, fire penetration, physical projectile attack damage, added fire damage, concentrated effect and GMP. For movement over cliffs, we link Leap Slam with faster attacks and Culling Strike item rarity, so it can be used as a finisher on tough bosses, adding some nice rarity as well. For defenses, we add a caster damage taken, Immortal Call setup with increased duration and enfeeble. And must have in Breach, the remaining 4 link is used for Wall Cyclone, increased area of effect, life gain on hit and fortify. On to the passive tree. Starting at the Ranger with Evasion Life hybrid nodes, I would prioritize the Duelist area before filling out the right side of the passive tree, which won't be required until one has ascended as a Raider. The Cruel nodes are Vitality Void, providing the Leech, Blood Magic for sustaining the high mana cost of Cyclone, and Resolute Technique, allowing us to ignore accuracy. From this basic layer, we fill out all effective life nodes, and as soon as we ascend into Raider, we wanna grab all available Frenzy charges as well. Acrobatics and Phase Acrobatics bring us up to 40% chance to dodge and 30% spell dodge, which will be further increased by our ascendancy and gear choices. As soon as you Cyclone, Master of the Arena and Art of the Gladiator are no-brainers. With Nagamu's Flame equipped at level 55, Point Blank and Iron Grip provide a great DPS boost for Molten Burst for just 2 nodes investment. With Avatar of Fire, we convert the remaining 50% physical damage to full fire damage, and Forces of Nature together with Lava Lash add valuable fire penetration to the mix. In the later levels, you can expand into the Templar for the increased area of effect and juicy life clusters. You will be lacking intelligence a lot with this setup, so you might need to squeeze in some 30 intelligence nodes, until you get some nice flat end on your rings. In terms of ascendancy nodes, you wanna grab Way of the Poacher and Avatar of the Slaughter first. As the Frenzy Charge generation was buffed in 2.5, now granting Frenzy Charges on hit versus rare and unique enemies, you basically never run out of them. And with our 10 Frenzies, we gain 40% more damage, 70% attack speed and 20% movement speed. The perfect stats for a Cyclone build, especially with the Molten Burst on hit, triggered a lot more often on high attack speed values. With the last 4 Ascendancy nodes, going for Avatar of the Veil is the more consistent buff in my opinion, providing you additional dodge chance, both for attacks and spells, and elemental status immunity, while phasing. As you gain phasing on maximum frenzy charges, you will basically have permanent phasing, even during boss fights. For bandits, help Oak in normal for plus 40 life, Kraton in cruel, and Kraton again in merciless for the additional frenzy charge. All that's left for now is the gear section. Our core unique is the Nagamu's Flame Abyssal Axe of course, but prices might be inflated for the next week due to a very similar Mathel build utilizing this axe. The timing is very unfortunate indeed. but you can use a Oro sacrifice until you can afford the X as a budget alternative. Other best in slot uniques are Devoto's Devotion, providing 20% movement and 16% attack speed, Daresso's Defiance for additional dodge chance and gaining the onslaught effect, Darkrai Vectors, providing an additional frenzy charge, 5% movement speed per charge, resulting in 50% movement speed on maximum frenzies, 2% dodge chance per frenzy, bringing you to the capped dodge for attacks with this build, and as they are not really expensive, one can mass corrupt them for yet another additional frenzy charge. Finally, the Breach Lord's Amulet, Xorf's Blood, looks like just made for this build. We gain an additional 10% fire penetration, 10% increased strength and life, and Avatar of Fire, saving us 4 passive points. On top of this, the Covered in Ash debuff also amplifies the fire damage dealt by us. As always, until you can afford these, rare gear will be just fine, as none of these uniques is build enabling. If you really equip all recommended uniques, your main focus on rings, the belt and gloves will be capping your elemental resistances, and as always getting a high life roll. Wed and attack speed are nice to have, but only relevant once the resistances are dealt with. Overall, this Cyclone Raider has beaten all tier 16 map bosses and is extremely fun to play with its high movement speed and sexy Vol Cyclones inside breaches. Just don't try to use Cyclone too early during leveling and maybe use Earthquake until you got the key passives like Blood Magic covered. But for further details and questions, check out Agnot's forum guide, linked in the description below, where you can find all the gear, links to the passive tree and other valuable gameplay tips. That's it from my side for today. Leave a like and share this if you enjoyed the video, and for more Path of Exile, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I hope you guys enjoyed and hope to see you next time.
Attention prisoners! For your crimes against Oriath, you have been exiled to the forsaken continent of Rayclast. The Magisters of Oriath are merciful and have granted all exiles one weapon. Choose wisely. Oriath has bestowed a gift upon you, a chance to redeem your crimes, a new life.